Right now on Denver 7 News at 6, we're waking up to the first measurable snow of the season in the metro, and it's messy.
I'm seeing very slick conditions on bridges, ramps, and overpasses, where the trouble spots are now and how you can avoid them, coming up in just a bit.
And in true Colorado fashion, it's going to be a weather whiplash. Snow is starting to clear out now, and it's going to get warmer tomorrow. We'll take a look at just how warm and windy in a few minutes.
It's a Denver 7 Weather Action Day ahead of a warm-up for the weekend. Team coverage starts right now. Yeah, got our whole team out there this morning. Thanks for joining us on this Weather Action Day. I'm Nicole Brady.
Yeah, and I'm Brian Sanders. Happy Friday morning to you. A snowy Friday morning. Some places in the metro got as much as 6 inches of snow overnight. Now we know conditions vary widely when we get a storm like this, so we have our whole team out there on this Weather Action Day. Veronica Acosta and Jessica Crawford giving us updates on the east and west sides of the metro. We do want to start with Lisa and Jason this morning though, because heading out is tough right now, Jason, especially with icy bridges.
Oh, most definitely, Brian. It has been really tough. Any elevated areas, I'm seeing crashes. This is one of them. This is westbound I-76 right at 270, a bridge here. This is I-70 right at I-25, another bridge. I-70 out to the west side of town across a couple of bridges by Sheridan. That is clear, but had big crash there and I-70 was closed. This is I-25 over at Yale and actually looks just wet for us right now. Let me take you to one of the biggest trouble spots up to the north side of town. It's going to be on that transition going northbound 25 to West Highway 36. Take a look from the camera. I counted at least 10 vehicles in here. It's going to be a process to try to clear this up. And so until then, you can go up to 84th, turn around, come back, access it there, or from 270, you can access westbound Highway 36. So you can see the travel times right now across that north side of town on the map this morning. Some very slow conditions because of that westbound I-76 crash, I-25, 270, even I-76 out to the west side of town, a new wreck before you get over to Sheridan, and a big multi-car wreck, one on 6th Avenue trying to get to Calumet, another one over here, Lisa, over at Central Park south of I-70. So it is a bridge mess for us here this morning. Really, it's all about the bridges.
Yeah, and what's not helping is we have some fog, a little mist. It's cold out there, so that could potentially be freezing on top of the snow that we picked up overnight. And you can see here on satellite and radar, things starting to clear up and dry out. We're going to see more sunshine here this afternoon, but 4.5 inches recorded out at DIA, making it our first official snow of the season, about 3 weeks off from our average for snow. Cold and icy here to start, sunny but chilly later on today. We are going to see skies clear, so more sunshine later on. Bundle up if you're heading out for a walk or a run. We're in the 20s now. We'll get into the upper 30s by noon and then highs in the low 40s here this afternoon. Denver right around 43, mid 40s there in Highlands Ranch, 20s and 30s in the mountains. Now we're going to pick up, you guys, a little more light snow here in the high country off and on over the next few days. Biggest issue tomorrow will be some gustier winds. We'll take a closer look at those winds, how strong it's going to get coming up on the Super 7 Day.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Well, it isn't all bad news with the snow, right? Usually we're excited for the snow this time of year. Maybe the most genuine joy that we've seen with the snow came from overnight. This is Rio the dog loving the snow and playing with her ball. This is in Aurora. And our team coverage continues on the east side of town in Aurora with Denver 7's Veronica Acosta. No snow day, sled day for the kids, but the snow is piling up out there.
It is. It's much less than it was in Green Valley Ranch, where we really started this morning off about an hour or so ago. But North Aurora, they got a good amount, right? You can see it on some of the vegetation right next to me. This is on the sides of the highways here. Pretty powdery, comes right off. And that's pretty much what we've seen all morning long. But we stopped here. This is on 10th and Airport Boulevard, because I want you to get a good look at what the roadways, these smaller roadways, kind of look like. And of course, you've heard Jason say that those bridges and overpasses, those are the real problem this morning. But take a look at that. I mean, not really an issue for drivers. Of course, some of them are going a bit slower than they normally would, but the roadways themselves, they just look a little wet, a little damp. There's not any accumulation of snow on them, obviously, still too warm for that. Even if you look at some of the medians there, you can see there's really no snow accumulation on those either. And then of course, the sidewalks in this part of town, they're also pretty clear. So a good amount of news there for people who are waking up trying to drive to work, maybe take their kids to school here in an hour or so. Something else that I want to point out is about 30 minutes ago, we were telling you that we were seeing the slightest bit of snow come down. That's not happening anymore, at least where we are, and this is just about 6 minutes from where we were last time on 11th and Perth. So something to keep in mind there as the morning goes on. We'll catch up with you guys in about 30 minutes or so, give you another update. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Veronica. We want to continue our team coverage with Denver 7's Jessica Crawford on the other side of town, the west side, in Arvada, near a busy intersection there. Hopefully, driving is doing okay out there right now.
Yeah, that's right. So we're here in the area of 44th and McIntyre, definitely a place that we're starting to see pick up, as really it's getting to be that time that people are starting to commute to work. One thing I wanted to point out to you guys, just remember a few weeks back when we were so excited about the leaves changing color. We were so excited about that start of fall. Yeah, well, this is kind of what the leaves are looking like right now, covered in snow, and really quite a few of them are falling off. And now we're seeing trees that look like this. Absolutely very few leaves on trees like this. So, you know, we're really starting to see that seasonal change. I'm going to give you a look right now of 44th and McIntyre. We are starting to see more people on the roadways, and you can see that even though the roads themselves look pretty clear, there still is definitely a slickness there. You can see the cars are also covered with snow. So one thing you're going to want to make sure before you hop in your car, kind of trying to get some of that snow off so it doesn't continue to fall off as you're driving this morning. Also, just be on the lookout for changes, because right now, while we're not seeing a whole ton of snowfall, we are still seeing a little bit of snow here in the Arvada area. So things could change on your commute. Give yourself plenty of extra time while you're out there on the roadways. Live from Arvada, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
All right, good advice. Yeah, it looks nice on the trees. You can get weather updates and Lisa's updated forecasts anytime on the Denver 7 Plus app for streaming. Just look for 24/7 weather stream, and you can get live radar there and forecasts for your neighborhood.
Let's get you caught up on some of your other news this morning. The Adams County Sheriff's Office is investigating a white powder that was found inside a ballot envelope Wednesday. The county's clerk and recorder says workers picked up the ballot from one of their drop-off locations and noticed the white substance was spilling out of the envelope. Initial testing shows there were cooking substances like flour and butter on it. A third unknown substance was sent to a lab for testing, but the scare comes as election offices are ramping up security ahead of Tuesday.
We're very fractured right now, and we have to be vigilant against threats. But also, election officials are working very hard to protect and secure the election.
If it is determined to be safe, that ballot will be processed normally. If not, the county will work with the voter to get them another ballot.
The Broncos are encouraging you to vote. A mobile voting unit will be set up in Lot J at Empower Field today and tomorrow. You can check your registration status, register to vote, or cast a ballot. They also have a drive-through option to drop off ballots there. It's from 8 to 6 today and 8 to 5 tomorrow. And don't forget, you can read about the candidates and issues on the ballot in our election guide. It is up right now on Denver7.com. One item on the ballot in Douglas County is teacher pay. I sat down with third grade teacher Lucy Squire. She's been at Copper Mesa Elementary in Highlands Ranch since it opened in 2005, at a time when home prices were a lot more affordable.
Single people without a dual income, I think that it's really challenging to find affordable living. If we were going to be looking to buy a house, we most likely would not be able to afford to live in Douglas County today, even with my salary. Every time teachers speak out about needing more money or pay us what we're worth, it's a battle and people don't understand it, but we're working with kids and this is the important work. So we shouldn't have to, I feel like we shouldn't have to always justify our salary.
Voters in Douglas County are being asked to pass a mill levy override that would raise property taxes by $50 per $100,000 of home value. It would increase teacher pay by 9% and 8% for other employees. Voters are also being asked to pass a bond to help build new schools and repair schools.
Meanwhile, Denver Public Schools is preparing a second reading on a proposal to close 10 campuses across the district because of low enrollment. This has been an emotional time for some families in the district. The second reading will be on November 29th, the same day they plan to vote on the measure. The district says the smallest schools are struggling to provide consistent staffing, strong academics, and a good learning environment for the kids. Lower birth rates and a changing housing market are both considered factors in the declining enrollment. Let's get a check of the roads again from Jason.
We have another massive multi-car wreck right now. This is on 6th Avenue. This is between I-25 where we are right now, looking back towards Calumet. That's the road right before Santa Fe when you get over there towards downtown. And I'm hearing at one point they said 50 cars. It is possible that there are 50 cars involved, but it's not probable that there are 50 cars. But there are people who are hurt and trapped in this wreck, and 6th Avenue is basically closed from I-25 on over. 8th Avenue is open, but again, it's another elevated section of freeway that, Lisa, we're having problems with.
Wow, maybe have an extra cup of coffee and try to wait this out a bit. It is a Denver 7 weather action day due to some of the icy conditions this morning. Snow is really tapering off. You're going to find some light snow in areas at the bus stop this morning. Mid to upper 20s. It's a cold start. Make sure your kids have jacket and hats on this morning. We'll be at about 40 degrees by the time they get home. Skies will clear out, you guys, so more sunshine this afternoon. It's going to get quite a bit warmer tomorrow. We'll take a closer look at your weekend on the Super 7 Day coming up.
Yeah, and it's a long weekend, 1 hour longer. Time to turn the clocks back. We're looking into why we're making the switch, though, after Governor Polis signed a law to keep us in daylight saving time year-round.
Skiers and snowboarders get the best of both worlds today. A fresh layer of powder out on the mountains and a special deal on a lift ticket specifically for Friday. Take a live look from Lookout Mountain camera this morning. Hard to see much of anything, obviously, because of the snow out there. We'll get another check of the road conditions with the accidents piling up and your forecast coming up.